All right, so now that Piggy Book 2 Chapter 6 is out, and it's been a little bit since we've done a full-on tier list ranking of all the Piggy chapters and maps, I thought now would be a good time to go back in and give you my thoughts on all the Piggy maps and chapters so far, including all the ones in Book 2. So I've got a lot to say about these chapters and maps, so let's go ahead and let's get started. So I've got 5 rankings here. I've got God tier. These are the best of the best. I've got great, I've got average, I've got meh, and I've got I hate it. There are a few maps that I just really don't like. So I've got all the maps down here in no particular order. So let's go ahead. Let's start off with the first one. Chapter 11. Now, this map here was done by IKEA. I generally like her maps. In fact, I think most of the maps I like on Piggy, the top of the top, generally are her maps. Now, Chapter 11, the Outpost, I'm actually going to put in great. And the reason why I'm going to put it in great is because it's got a lot of verticality to it. You've got the second floor. You've actually technically got 3 floors really to it. You've got a lot of rooms that you can go into. There's a lot of areas that the Piggy can actually trap other players. You've got Zizzy going around with the soldier Piggies. There's a lot going on this map. You've got the tank. There's a lot of really cool items. I think this is one of the better maps in the game. It's going into the great tier. Now, Chapter 10, the Mall. This one's going to be probably a little bit controversial because I know a lot of you guys really like this map, but I'm going to actually put it on the meh tier, and I'll explain why. You're going to notice this a lot throughout this video, but the mall map is literally a giant square. And what happens when the map is a giant square is it's very easy for players to evade the Piggy. Any maps where there is a giant square without very many different rooms or obstructions, it's basically really easy for players to just constantly run around the map, and it's really hard for Piggy to actually catch those players since Piggy actually goes a little bit slower than the players. And so if you're playing against anybody that's competent or has half a brain, it's going to be really annoying to catch them as Piggy. So that's why Chapter 10 is going on the meh tier. All right, so Chapter 12. I like Chapter 12 a lot. In fact, I'm going to put Chapter 12 on the God tier. It's going to be the first one up there. Now, I'm going to be honest, the map isn't necessarily my favorite map. It suffers a lot from the run around and evade Piggy. There's a lot of different spots. It's literally just a giant square that the players can just constantly run around endlessly on. But how you get the dynamite and you blow up the map and then it transitions into another map with Ghost Bunny and stuff, that's just really cool. And because of that, it's going on God tier. Okay, so Allie's Chapter 1. Allie's Chapter 1 of Book 2 is all right. I'm going to put it on the average tier. I don't think there's really anything too special about this map. It can be a little bit annoying going back and forth and re-getting all the items again as the player whenever you have to go through the hallway that Willow's down. Because obviously you've already used the scissors, so you got to go back and get the scissors again and then go back and get the mop again. It can get a little bit annoying, so I'm going to put it on the average tier, but it's pretty good, man. All right, so Store Chapter 2. I actually really like this one. I'm going to put this on God tier, and the reason why is it's a smaller map. There's a lot of ways for the player to evade Piggy. There's a lot of ways for the Piggy to get the players. I think it's a well-balanced map, and it's a lot of fun to play. It's also not a map that takes 5 million years to complete, and because of that, it's going to go onto the God tier list. All right, so Refinery Chapter 3. I again really like this map. I'm going to put it on the great tier. The reason why I'm not putting it on the God tier is because if you're playing in a public server, this map can actually be kind of annoying to do. And it's not really Minitoon's fault or anybody's fault. It's just this map is probably the hardest map in the game. And whenever you're playing on a public server and you get players that are not really the best, they just run straight past the guards get them, and then game over. Basically, what I'm saying is unless you're playing on this map with your friends, it can be kind of a frustrating experience just because of how hard it is. Safe Place Chapter 4. Now, this one is, man, I don't know how I feel about this one. I think this map is pretty good, but it can be kind of frustrating going back and forth up and down the stairs. I don't know. You know, I'm going to actually put this on great. I like the fact that it feels somewhat claustrophobic. There's not a lot of room to run around. It feels really scary at times and really cramped. And because of that, I think it has a good vibe to it. And I'm going to put it on great. Chapter 5 Sewers. That's going right on over here. Actually, first place, God tier. I love this map. This map is extremely well designed. The lighting in it, the sounds in it, everything about this map is 10 out of 10. There's enough places to catch players off guard as Piggy. There's enough rooms to hide in as the player. I think this is a well-balanced map. I think this is an amazing map. It's going on the God tier. And the bot is absolutely terrifying. All right, let's just throw that out there. I love this map. All right, so Factory Chapter 6. I'm actually going to save that one. We're going to save that one until last. Let's do Chapter 1 House. Now, Chapter 1 House, I think is a great map. Again, this map has some verticality to it. There's 3 floors to that. Well, technically, even there's three floors. There's enough room for Piggy to actually put down some traps and really get in there and scare some players. But again, it's not too hard for the players either. I think this is a very well-balanced map, and it's fun for both teams to play on, so it's going on the great tier. Chapter 2 Station. I'm actually going to put this right next to Chapter 5. Chapter 2 Station is one of my favorite maps in the game. The reason why I like Chapter 2 Station so much is because it's got pretty much everything I could want for in a map. It's got stairs. It's got 2 different floors. Technically 3 if you count the room with the wrench, you know, the office upstairs. It's got a lot of places that you can put traps out as Piggy and catch players, back them into corners, and as players, again, there's a lot of different ways to evade the Piggy. It's a very well-balanced map. I like Chapter 2 a lot. It's going in the great or the god tier. All right, so Chapter 3 Gallery. Oh man, as a Piggy player, I love this map simply because it's the easiest map in the game to play as Piggy. However, there is a really big problem with this map. If you're playing as a player and the Piggy puts a trap down on the stairs going up, you cannot win. It is literally impossible for you to win. It is so, you just can't, especially if it's a black hole trap. And because of that, I'm gonna put it in the meh category. If there was some other way to get up to the second floor besides the main stairs, this wouldn't really be so much of a problem, and I'd like the map a lot more. It's just not very well balanced for both teams. All right, so Chapter 4 Forest. That one's actually gonna go down here into the I hate it category. Now, you can probably guess why, but the reason why I don't like playing on this map is simply because it's basically a wide open area. And if you're playing as Piggy, it is impossible to catch the other players because there's no real good places to put your traps. You don't have enough traps to cover the area that you need to in order to catch players. And there are a lot of different ways for players to avoid Piggy. It is a very frustrating experience playing on this map as Piggy because you can just never catch anybody, especially if they have half a brain. And because of that, it's going on the bottom category. Chapter 5, The School. I'm going to put that on the meh category. It kind of has the same issues as Chapter 4. However, it's not as bad. It's a little bit more cramped. It's a little bit more of a well-balanced experience for both teams, and I like this map. All right, so Chapter 6 Hospital. Now, Chapter 6 Hospital would be up here in the great tier, maybe even god tier, if it wasn't for one problem. At the end of this map, there's a hallway you have to go down, and you have to use the hammer on the door, and you have to use the key on the door, and you also have to put down a plank. Now, if Piggy is chasing you, it is literally impossible to win this because you can't hold 3 items at one time, and if you go down that hallway, you're stuck in that hallway because if Piggy comes up behind you, that's it, you're done automatically. There's no way around them, and because of that, it can be pretty frustrating to play as a player. So I'm gonna put that on the meh category. If it wasn't for that last bit, that last little hallway you go down, this map would probably be in the great tier. I really like this map. It's just that one last problem there, that one last bit. All right, so Chapter 7, The Subway. You know, I'm gonna put this on, man, great or average. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna put this on average simply because of that hallway down the middle of the map in the bottom. Again, it's really frustrating playing as Piggy, and players kind of just camp down there. It's really hard to catch them because they can just run back and forth and there's nothing really stopping them. There's no real good place to put a trap down in the hallway. But at the same time, this map isn't bad. I don't mind playing on this map. I think it's overall a good map. It's just compared to all the other ones in the game, I think it's kind of average. So I'm going to put it on the average tier. All right, Chapter 8 Carnival. Let's just be real. This is the worst map in the game. I don't like it. Let me explain why. If you're playing as the Piggy on this map, by the time you spawn in, the players generally already have half the map complete, and this map is literally a giant square. It is impossible to have enough traps to trap players with on this map. It is impossible to catch players on this map because they can literally just go in a giant square. There's no way to cut off players on this map. And like I said, if you're playing as the player, it's not even difficult because you can have most of the map complete before the Piggy even spawns. It is an extremely easy map for the players and an extremely difficult map, the hardest map in the game for the Piggies. I don't like playing on this map. I really wish he would do something to this map to make it a little bit more fair, a little bit more even. So I'm going to put it on the bottom tier. Worst of the worst. All right, so Chapter 9 City. This one's actually god tier. I like this one a lot. Let me explain why. Yes, this map has a giant square going around the outside of the map, but in order to complete the map, you have to go into 2 different buildings. Each of these buildings have numerous floors. It is very, very stressful and very, very fun and very, very frantic playing as a player on this map because you might get trapped in a building. The Piggies might be coming up the stairs. You might have to jump down the stairs. If you're playing as a Piggy, there's numerous places that you can put down some really good traps. There's a lot of really good trap spots on this map, and I think it's a very well-balanced map. It's probably one of my favorite maps in the game. In fact, I'm actually going to put it in the second most spot. I really like this map. I like this map a lot. Actually, when it comes to the God tier list, I'm actually gonna do that like that. I think it's a good list, a good God tier list. All right, so chapter 6, the factory, the moment you've all been waiting for. This one is see, the problem with this map is it suffers from a lot of the same issues that the carnival and the forest have, and that it's a large open square, so it's very easy for the players to run around on. However, this problem is negated by the fact that there is another piggy in here, Willow Wolf, who actually follows you around, places traps herself, and also immobilizes players by shooting them with her weapon, which makes the map a lot easier for the piggy, and I think it's a pretty well balanced map because of that. If Willow Wolf wasn't on this map, it'd be down here. All right, but because Willow Wolf balances it out for both teams, I'm gonna actually put it on the great tier. I think it's a great map. So that's my list. If you've noticed, I'm a big fan of the maps that are well balanced for both teams. Maps that have a lot of places to cut off and trap players as Piggy so that it's fun playing as Piggy, but also maps that have a lot of good maneuvering spaces and spaces to run away with, as the player too. Well balanced maps are the best in my opinion. Now, I'm gonna have a link to this list down in the pinned comment section. If you wanna take this list and tweet it at me, share it at me on Twitter, you guys can totally do that. Let me know what you guys think about this list down below though. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you not like my list? Do you like my list? Do you hate it? Let me know down below, and remember, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead, hit that red subscribe button underneath the video, and keep using star code RealKreek when you're buying your Roblox, and buying your Roblox Premium helps me out a lot and helps support the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching though, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!